Okay, so someone asked me to look into Maya animation because they wanted their object to kind of interact with the scenery and obviously move with the bumps. Now, don't usually use animation myself, it's not my area. It didn't take me long to work out how to make a basic ball follow the bumps more or less of a plane that's been warped a bit. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you and actually prove that this does what I say it does. So it's not perfect. There's a few like off moments, but the ball's coming along and you can see that it's moving upwards and then dropping back down, where you've got these bumps just here, and you'll see, so you can actually see a line running through this, and that's there for a very good reason, which I will show you now. Hopefully it shouldn't take me long to recreate this. So double check again, make sure it's definitely doing what I think it's doing. You can see it's kind of bouncing up, going down. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything to prove that I can do this from start to finish. So, gonna get myself a plane, and then I'll just transform it. So I think I want I'll go for 20 long and about 5 wide to give myself a bit of space. I'm going to select a vertex. I'm just going to kind of bump these up. Probably should do soft select, it would be a lot easier, but never mind. Okay, and a couple more just to... And there we go. We've got ourselves some bumps in this now. And then what I'll do is I'm going to add myself a sphere. There we go. Now you can see on this it's kind of half buried. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that the origin point for the sphere is at the bottom, because if I do it in the middle, it'll actually run half buried in the path, which is something that I don't want. So when I've selected this, I just hold down D and I can actually assign, there we go, the very center vertex as its origin point. And okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Let's move this up. It doesn't really matter because it'll snap in a second. Now I've got my plane. Now I'm going to change the color on this as well, just so I can see it a bit clearer. Oh, not too dark, not too light. Great. Now on my plane, I'm actually going to turn the highest point, so I'm going to find the highest point in it, and I'm going to make that my path to follow all the way along. And I'm going to do that by right clicking, selecting edge, and then just double clicking so that I've got the highest point as my entire path. I could choose to play around with this a bit more, but I'm not going to do it for this one. So then I need to go into modeling mode, obviously, go down to modify. I then should be able to convert poly edges to curve, and then you can see it's kind of created this line right the way throughout and created this. Now that is going to be my path, and this should be the simple part. Click on polycurve, pick on the sphere, drop yourself back into animation, up to constrain, down to motion paths, and attach motion path. Now, with any luck, if I reset this to 0, spin around and press play, and you can actually see I'm going a bit too fast on the frames per second here. I might need to play around with that, but you can actually see now that it follows all the humps and bumps because I've set a very clear path. Now, obviously, if you've got complex models, you're probably going to have to play around a bit more on this, and I'm just really playing around with animation now because it's not really my area, but hopefully that'll help you out getting going on any kind of animation and using those paths.